October 12, 1972, dawned like any other day in Montevideo, Uruguay. The city awoke to the gentle hues of dawn, the streets slowly coming to life as the first light of day touched the rooftops, and the bustling city began its daily rhythm. Excitement filled the air as a group of young rugby players, their families and friends prepared to embark on a chartered flight to Chile. The players, brimming with youthful energy, exchanged high fives and hugs, their faces alight with anticipation for the upcoming match. Their destination, a match against their Chilean counterparts. This was more than just a game, it was an opportunity to showcase their skills and bring pride to their team and country. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation, dreams of victory fueling their spirits. Families waved goodbye, their hearts filled with hope and excitement for the adventure that lay ahead. Little did they know, fate had a cruel twist in store, a harrowing ordeal that would test the very limits of human endurance, and forever etch their story into the annals of survival. The clock was ticking, and the storm clouds were gathering, unseen and unheeded. The Fairchild FH-227D, christened Flight 571, awaited its passengers on the tarmac. The aircraft, a sturdy twin-engine turboprop, stood ready to carry its passengers across the formidable Andes Mountains. This twin-engine turboprop aircraft, a workhorse of the skies, was no stranger to the challenging Andean routes. It had flown these paths many times before, navigating the treacherous mountain passes with precision and reliability. The passengers, a mix of students, athletes, and professionals, boarded the plane, their laughter and chatter filling the cabin. They settled into their seats, sharing stories and dreams, unaware of the impending danger. Among them were Nando Parado, a charismatic young man with a zest for life, and Roberto Canessa, a medical student known for his quiet determination. Both were eager for the journey ahead, their minds filled with thoughts of the game and the adventure. As the plane taxied down the runway and soared into the clear blue sky, a sense of normalcy prevailed. The passengers relaxed, enjoying the smooth ascent and the promise of a routine flight. No one could have predicted the terrifying events that were about to unfold, transforming an ordinary flight into a desperate struggle for survival against insurmountable odds. The serene beginning of their journey belied the chaos that lay ahead. The initial leg of the journey passed without incident. The plane cruised smoothly, and the passengers settled into a comfortable routine, some reading, others chatting or gazing out the windows. The passengers settled into their seats, enjoying the breathtaking views of the snow-capped Andes Mountains stretching below. The majestic peaks, bathed in sunlight, seemed to promise a safe and uneventful journey. Conversations flowed, music played, and laughter punctuated the air. The camaraderie among the passengers was palpable, a shared sense of excitement and adventure binding them together. The flight crew, led by Captain Julio Ferradas, a seasoned pilot with years of experience, maintained a steady course. The captain, confident in his abilities and the reliability of the aircraft, guided the plane with a practiced hand. But as the plane ventured deeper into the heart of the Andes, the weather began to shift. The once clear skies darkened and the first signs of turbulence began to rattle the aircraft. Dark, ominous clouds gathered, casting an eerie pallor over the snow-covered peaks. The passengers, sensing the change, grew quiet, their earlier joviality replaced by a growing sense of unease. The stage was set for a journey that would test their courage and resilience in ways they could never have imagined. The Fairchild FH-227D, while a reliable workhorse, was not without its limitations. This aircraft, a symbol of a bygone era, had seen countless takeoffs and landings, each one adding to its storied history. The particular aircraft assigned to Flight 571 was nearing the end of its operational life. Its once state-of-the-art systems were now considered antiquated, and every flight was a testament to the meticulous maintenance it received. Its age was evident in the worn upholstery, the occasional rattling of its fuselage, and the whispers among the crew about its quirks. These quirks, while familiar to the seasoned crew, were a constant reminder of the plane's age and the challenges it presented. This was not a state-of-the-art airliner, it was a testament to years of service, carrying countless passengers through the skies. Each journey added another chapter to its long and storied history, a history filled with both triumphs and challenges. The crew, while competent, lacked experience in such demanding flying conditions. They were well-trained and dedicated, but the unpredictable nature of the Andes was a formidable adversary. Captain Ferradas, though a skilled pilot, had limited exposure to the treacherous mountain weather. His experience, while extensive, had not fully prepared him for the unique challenges posed by the Andes. The co-pilot, Dante Laguarara, was relatively new to the route, his youthful confidence yet to be tested by the unforgiving nature of the Andes. His enthusiasm was palpable, but so was his inexperience. The flight engineer, Ramon Martinez, was a meticulous mechanic, more at ease with the intricacies of the aircraft's engines than the unpredictable whims of mountain winds. His expertise was invaluable, but it was the elements that would ultimately test the crew's mettle. As the weather deteriorated, the familiar hum of the engines became a source of both comfort and concern. The steady rhythm of the propellers was a reassuring constant, yet the growing turbulence hinted at the challenges ahead. The passengers, accustomed to the gentle rocking of flight, felt the plane shudder as it encountered turbulence. Their initial curiosity turned to apprehension as the aircraft was buffeted by the storm. The once bright cabin grew dimmer, the cheerful chatter replaced by a tense silence. The flight attendants moved through the aisles, offering reassurances, but their own unease was hard to mask. Outside, the storm raged, unleashing its fury upon the mountains. The once serene landscape was now a battleground of wind and snow, each gust a reminder of nature's power. The wind howled like a banshee, whipping the snow into a blinding frenzy. The mountains, usually a majestic sight, were now hidden behind a curtain of white. Visibility plummeted, the majestic peaks disappearing into a swirling vortex of white. The pilots strained to see through the storm, their instruments their only guide. The pilots, their faces etched with concern, battled to maintain control of the aircraft. Every decision was critical, every moment a test of their skills and resolve. The plane bucked and swayed, tossed about like a leaf in a hurricane. The forces of nature were relentless, each gust a challenge to the aircraft's stability. Captain Ferradas, his voice strained but steady, announced to the passengers that they were encountering unexpected turbulence and urged them to remain calm. His words were a beacon of hope in the storm, a reminder of the crew's dedication. His words, meant to reassure, did little to quell the growing sense of unease that gripped the cabin. The passengers clung to their seats, their faces a mix of fear and hope, as the storm raged on. The impact was deafening, a cacophony of metal screeching against ice and snow. The world outside the shattered windows transformed into a chaotic blur of white and gray. The fuselage of the Fairchild FH-227D, once a symbol of hope and connection, lay broken and defeated on the desolate, windswept slopes of a remote Andean peak. The once familiar interior was now a mangled wreckage of twisted metal, torn seats, and scattered belongings. For those who survived the initial impact, a chilling realization dawned. They were stranded, miles from civilization, in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. The biting cold, the thin air, and the blinding whiteness of the snow-covered landscape formed a prison more daunting than any man-made structure. They were at the mercy of the elements, their fate hanging precariously in the balance. Panic surged through the survivors as they stumbled from the wreckage, their bodies battered and bruised, their minds reeling from the trauma. The icy wind tore at their clothes, chilling them to the bone. The thin air made breathing a conscious effort, each gasp a painful reminder of their precarious situation. The immensity of their predicament, the sheer isolation of their surroundings was overwhelming. But amidst the despair, a glimmer of hope emerged. The rugby team, their bodies hardened by years of training, emerged as natural leaders. Their discipline, their spirit of camaraderie, provided a much-needed sense of order in the chaos. They rallied around the injured, sharing their meager supplies, offering words of encouragement, clinging to the belief that somehow, someway, they would be found. As the initial shock subsided, the survivors of Flight 571 were confronted with the stark reality of their situation. The initial disbelief gave way to a grim acceptance as they realized the enormity of their predicament. They were stranded at an altitude of over 11,000 feet, surrounded by treacherous mountains with no way to contact the outside world. The vast, snow-covered expanse stretched endlessly, a cold and silent witness to their struggle. The wreckage of the plane, their only shelter from the relentless elements, offered little protection from the biting cold and the frequent snowstorms. The fuselage, once a symbol of modern engineering, now lay twisted and broken, a stark reminder of their fragile existence. Food and water were scarce, their supplies dwindling with each passing day. Each meal was a somber affair, the portions growing smaller as the days dragged on. The harsh Andean environment, unforgiving and indifferent to their plight, became their greatest adversary. The mountains, majestic and imposing, seemed to mock their efforts to survive. The days were deceptively bright, the sun reflecting off the snow and creating a blinding glare. The intense light was both a blessing and a curse, providing warmth, but also sapping their energy. The nights were long and bitterly cold, the temperature plummeting far below freezing. The darkness brought with it a bone-chilling cold that seeped into their very souls. The thin air made every movement a Herculean effort, every breath a precious commodity. The altitude sickness added to their woes, causing headaches, nausea, and a constant feeling of fatigue. Survival became a full-time occupation, a constant battle against hunger, thirst, and the debilitating effects of the altitude. Every decision, every action was driven by the primal need to stay alive. The survivors rationed their meager food supplies, each bite a stark reminder of their dwindling resources. They learned to savor every morsel, knowing that each meal could be their last. They melted snow for drinking water, the process agonizingly slow and yielding only a meager amount. The cold made the task even more arduous, their hands numb and clumsy. They huddled together inside the wrecked fuselage, their bodies pressed together for warmth, their spirits buoyed by shared stories and flickering hopes of rescue. The camaraderie provided a brief respite from the harsh reality outside. As days turned into nights, the survivors adapted to their unforgiving surroundings. They became attuned to the rhythms of the mountains, learning to read the signs of impending storms and the best times to venture out. They learned to distinguish edible plants from poisonous ones, their hunger overriding their aversion to the unfamiliar. The knowledge of the land became a crucial tool in their fight for survival. They fashioned crude tools and shelters from the wreckage, their ingenuity born out of desperation. The makeshift tools, though rudimentary, became essential in their daily struggle. They developed a system of communal living, sharing tasks and resources, drawing strength from their collective will to survive. The sense of community, of being part of something larger than themselves, gave them the courage to face each new day,